Hello, Level Up listeners. This is your host, Dr. Leyland from Level Up Academy. I apologize. Last Friday, I didn't have any drop of podcasts. The reason for that, it's because, well, life happens. No excuses. Life happens last week. Anyhow, because this is the last day of the week, well, technically the weekend, right? We have June 31st, I believe. And Saturday is the really last day of Mental Health Month. And if you catch me in my live shows on YouTube at luobyDocLeyland.com, or that's my website, but luobyDocLeyland is where you find me on YouTube. If you are not subscribed, please subscribe. If you're not subscribed in our Spotify, Apple, iHeart, Pandora, please do. Thank you so much for listening. Well, today we're going to talk about mental health. This is mental health awareness, and we're going to talk about how do we master ADHD, depression, and anxiety, and talk about the tools to reclaim your mind. If you have not been diagnosed by a professional psychiatrist or psychologist, please find one that works for you. It took me 41 years to actually get diagnosed, right? 40 plus years, actually. I shouldn't say 41 because it was just most recently and I'm close to my 50. But here's the thing. Even if you're not diagnosed, but you actually see that you might have certain traits that we talked about having ADHD, and this is for you as well. Or if you know somebody who have ADHD, depression, and anxiety, this is for you as well. So listen up. Welcome back to Level Up Academy, the podcast where personal growth meets real world tools, and where we don't just talk about success, we talk about sustainable success rooted in mental wellness. So here we go.
Level up with Dr. Leyland. Step into the future. The world is waiting now. Dreams are in the making. We'll show you how. From the books to the screen, from the stage to the stars. Level up your game, let's raise the bar. Innovation, inspiration, it's in our DNA. Breaking through the limits, we're paving the way. Level up, reach the sky, take the lead, don't be shy. Your story's worth it, your light will shine. At Level Up Academy, it's your time. Oh, it's your time. At Level Up Academy, we rise and climb.
Yes, we do. We rise and climb. Again, I'm your host, Dr. Leyland, and today's episode is deeply personal and deeply important. Let me start with a question. Have you ever felt like your brain just won't cooperate with you? Like you're drowning in tasks, or like the weight of sadness or fear or restlessness is too much, but you keep going because life doesn't stop? Well, if that resonates with you, you are not alone. In honor of Mental Health Awareness Month, we're going to be getting honest about the silent battles that so many of us face. ADHD. When your focus is scattered, your energy is inconsistent, and your mind won't sit still. That's how I'm feeling right now. Okay? Depression. When everything just feels like too much or nothing feels like enough, right? There's no happy medium. It's literally one or the other. Or both. And anxiety, when your mind is racing, worrying about the future, or fearing of failure. These aren't weaknesses, okay? They're actually signals. And when we listen to those signals with the right tools, transformation is possible. Now, let me just put out a caveat that I am Dr. Leyland in business, international business. I am not a medical doctor, but I am speaking from experience, having all three. Now, today I'm going to give you a clinical but compassionate breakdown. I've done enough research. I am certified as cognitive behavior therapy coach practitioner. Okay, well, what's happening in your mind and body? And then walk you through science-backed strategies, because you guys know I love researching. The therapist, psychologist, and psychiatrists used to help people just like you and I regain peace, purpose, and control. Let's level up, not just in business today, guys, not just in life, but in mental strength and self-compassion. That is important. If I have to highlight anything else, it's self-compassion. Let's break down each challenge, because ADHD, depression, and anxiety often overlap. But according to the National Institute of Mental Health, over 60% of adults with ADHD also experience anxiety or depression. If you hear some weird noises, that's Cheerio, guys. That's my English bulldog who's very hot right now. So if you hear a little bit of breathing, I apologize. She's part of the ambiance, okay? Back to our ADHD, depression, and anxiety conversation. And we're going to ask why. Well, because ADHD impacts your executive function, your brain's ability to plan, to regulate emotions, and complete tasks. When these abilities are impaired, it often leads to 1. Missed deadlines from your work, from your school, from everything else in life. We have, sometimes it shows up with a damaged self-esteem, and often about frustration in relationships, whether it's romantic, platonic, or familial, right? And when that stress builds up unchecked, depression and anxiety actually follows. Now, this is more of a clinical insight, okay? Part of my journey on getting my CBT coach practitioner certificate. Now, psychiatrist Dr. Russell Barkley refers to ADHD not as a deficit of attention, but a disorder of self-regulation. That means even if you care deeply, your brain's ability to manage impulses, your emotions, and priorities is constantly challenged. Depression, on the other hand, is more than sadness. It's a shutdown in motivation, in hope, and even in pleasure. It impacts sleep, appetite, and your will to act. Let's talk about anxiety. What about it? It's a survival response stuck in override. You're bracing for the threats that might not exist, and your body is paying the price. Okay, here's the important reminder for everyone who's in this situation or feeling this situation or knows someone who's feeling in this situation. You're not lazy. You're not weak. Your neurochemistry just needs different type of support, guys. Okay? Now, the CBT Triangle framework, this is what I have learned and I have shared with some of my clients. Now, let's talk about one of the most widely used tools in therapy, the CBT Triangle, the cognitive behavior therapy, okay? It actually connects 3 things. Number 1, your thoughts. Number 2, your emotions. And then number 3, your behaviors. Now, let's use a real example, okay? Imagine you wake up and think, I'm behind. I'll never catch up. That thought creates anxiety or sadness. And as a result, you procrastinate or avoid. And then the cycle repeats with guilt, with shame, and more negative self-talk. So how do we actually help ourselves in this time? Start a thought tracker each morning or evening. Like when you wake up, you have to align yourself and you have to put intentions on what you want to do today. And each time that you have a thought that is negative, write one challenging thought. What was the challenge right now? Just one. Label the emotion that triggered it. And then write down how you responded. What kind of behavior? Were you angry? Were you sad? Were you just like singing instead? Were you shopping uncontrollably? What were you doing? Were you eating? Okay? Then ask yourself, what would I say to a friend thinking this? Because you know why? We like to give advice to other people, right? But self-coaching, that's powerful. We don't ever practice that, but you can. It is possible. Now, let's offer real solutions and break down these as a strategy. This comes from psychology's best tools, okay, including CBT, DBT. DBT means dialectical behavior therapy, and behavioral activation. Now, for ADHD, the structure with compassion, you have to use visual timers like Pomodoro, 25 minutes work, 5 minutes break. I actually use that often to get my work and my projects. I have a lot of projects done doing that. Okay. What you do is you use your iPhone. Okay. Don't be scrolling social media right now. Just use your clock, put a timer for 25 minutes, make it an alarm, and do not touch your phone for no reason whatsoever. Do not touch your iPad. Do not touch anything social media in your computer. Straight to work. Whatever you're working, straight for 25 minutes. And when that alarm rings, put another timer for 5 minutes. Do this about 4 times. And when you hit that 1 hour mark, take a 30-minute break instead of that 5 minutes. Okay? Now, when you have huge projects, break projects into steps you can complete in under 15 minutes. Especially if you have ADHD, it's kind of hard to focus, especially if you don't want to do the project and your brain is already resisting. Remember, we're working with 95% of what? What are we walking every day with 95%? Subconscious mind. So if you're already hitting the project you don't even want to do and you have ADHD, guess what? You're already thinking, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do this, right? That your brain is already saying that. And now you have a huge project and you don't want to do this. Guess what? You still have to do it, right? So break it into under 15 minutes so you don't get super frustrated. Create routines that are automated, like morning checklist, time blocking. When you need to talk to people, unless it's necessary, like absolutely necessary, then do it. Otherwise, focus on your conversation, right? Don't spend time Zooming or doing coffee chats that doesn't go nowhere. And also, when you're at a coffee chats, start from the beginning. Tell your people, hey, I got 15 minutes. Hey, I got 20 minutes. And as soon as that 20 minutes, respect yourself and walk away from that conversation and say, let's continue the next time. Don't feel bad. That's called boundaries. That's for your own good. That's called self-compassion for yourself. And for ADHD people, this is actually a good habit for you to have. Okay? Here's a psychological tip. Dopamine is the key neurotransmitter for ADHD brains. That means frequent wins equals momentum. Right? You get high on everything. You're like, oh my God, I finished that. Oh my God, I did this. Oh my God. That's good for you. That's the reason why you need to do projects and break it into small micro tasks. Okay? Now let's go for depression here. Conversation. Action creates emotion. Let me repeat. Action creates emotion. So wake up and do 3 anchor tasks. Move your body, hydrate, shower. Some people will run in the morning. Some people will walk in the morning. Some people will drink their coffee and just listen to music. Some people will do stretching. Some people will do meditation and journaling. But try to move your body. Drink cold water before coffee. I know it's hard. I've been having a hard time with that too. And then have a cold shower once in a while. It doesn't have to be hot all the time. Your body needs it to wake up, okay? And then schedule one pleasurable activity daily, no matter what your mood is. Pleasurable could be, I don't know, drinking coffee with no kids, no dogs, no husbands, no wives, no TikTok scrolling, Instagram watching and binging on Netflix, no news, nothing. None of that. Just be still on your own space that makes you happy. Even if that means in the little closet or in your bathroom, or maybe doing your makeup, or maybe shaving your beard, whatever that is, right? One pleasurable activity. Could be eating chocolates. Your doctor told you not to and you just want to like giggle and do one. That's fine. No one's telling. One pleasurable activity. Something you really love and you're like, oh, wow, I want to just listen to music. I don't want to do anything else. Then do it. Just don't do it the whole day, but schedule it for at least 15 minutes. You deserve it. And use energy journaling. What does that mean, CJ? Log how you feel before and after actions, not just tasks. When you dance, you're like, whoa, let me take account. Let me get at least 3 bullet points of how I feel. When I dance, guys, first of all, I'm out of breath because I need to exercise. Secondly, oh my God, I feel so happy and energized. And then third, I'm like, ew, I need to take a shower. I'm sweating. Really, literally, right? That's called energy journaling. Just 3 bullet points. Doesn't have to be a whole book about it, right? And here's a psych tip. Behavioral activation teaches us that we don't wait to feel better. We just do. And then the feeling follows. Okay? So that is for depression. Most of the time when you're depressed, nothing makes you happy. In fact, even if it's sunny, beautiful, in a idyllic setting, even on the beach, you just don't enjoy it. Because you are sad. And there's nothing and no one can say to make it feel better. Right? In fact, when people ask you, and sometimes you have guilt, you're like, I have everything in my life. Why am I sad? What's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? Nothing's wrong with you. You're just going through that depression. So what you're going to do is you're going to help yourself. Okay? Help yourself. You have all the tools that you need. You just need to activate it yourself. Don't wait to make you feel better. Like, oh, I'll just shower later when I feel better. No, shower now if you have to. Cold shower will wake you up. Okay? Now for anxiety, calming your inner alarm system. Try 4 to 7 to 8 breathing or box breathing, 4 in 4 and hold out and hold on. Okay, let's do a box breathing right now. This is for anxiety. When you're feeling so overwhelmed, you want to just cry and you keep crying, or you are shaking, you just feel boxed in, like, the room is so small and it's spinning and I don't feel like I can get out. I'm done, right? When you're feeling that, do box breathing. This is how we do it. Ready? You ready? Even if you're driving and you're listening to this, do box breathing with me. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1. Breathe in and hold for 4 seconds, okay? Breathe in. 4, 3, 2, 1. One more time, guys. Breathe in and hold for 4 seconds. Through your nose. 4, 3, 2, 1. 4 seconds out. 4 seconds in through your nose. 4, 3, 2, 1. Out through your mouth. 4 seconds. One more time. 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe out through your mouth. 4 seconds. One more time. 4, 3, 2, 1. Out through your mouth. 4 seconds. Do that when you have anxiety. 4 by 4. Imagine a square, and each corner of the square, you're breathing in through your nose. Hold for 4 seconds. And imagine that your head and your feet and your body is on a straight line while you're breathing. Close your eyes and empty your mind and do 4 seconds in through your nose. Hold it for 4 seconds. Release slowly for 4 seconds. Deep, deep, deep release. Then breathe in again for 4 seconds on the second corner of your square. Hold it for 4 seconds and release another 4 seconds. Literally do that 4 times and you will feel different. I'm not going to guarantee that everything is going to be rosy after you do that. But what you're trying to do is calm your brain and actually think about different thoughts. I know, I apologize. You hear, that's my bulldog. She's not good for meditation. She is not good for meditation. But in the morning, actually, she is, because she's not breathing hard. She's just looking at me like, okay, mom, I'm ready, right? So have a box breathing when you're having that anxiety. Also, reduce stimulants, guys. If you drink caffeine, I do drink coffee. I do rice coffee, RYZE. If you ever want to check it out, Rice Foods or Rice Superfoods, and you actually get 10%, or was it 15% discount or 10% discount. You just go Constance Leyland 15, and that's a code for a discount. Rice coffee has 48% caffeine, and if you drink too much coffee, you get a little bit bloated, your tummy hurts because your gut's like, oh, it's too much acid in this coffee. Well, guess what? Rice coffee, because it has 6 different amazing mushrooms, like focus. It's good for your ADHD, by the way. That's why I drink it. And the creamer is so amazing. It's good for your gut health, so you don't feel bloated. And also is amazing for your, if you have ADHD, anxiety, or depression, or oxidation, like skin aging, it's good for that as well. Okay. So less caffeine, better for you. That's why I drink rice coffee, RYZE, superfoods.com. Okay. And then reduce your social media, reduce your scroll loops, right? You can actually track how long you are in social media on your iPhone. Practice a worry dump. Write your anxious thoughts. And then schedule 10 minutes to revisit them later. Training your brain to pause rather than spiraling out helps with your anxiety. You know how you go to an appointment and you're like, oh my God, I have an appointment. I have to be there no matter what, right? You get off of school, you get off of work for that appointment. You should do that for yourself. Schedule a 10 minutes no matter what, right? Look at what your worry thoughts were. What were you anxious about, right? Train your brain to pause rather than just keep spiraling out. Another tip for that is anxiety often lives in the future. The more we ground into the present, the more power we regain. We get anxious because the what if situation. What if I get judged by this? What if they reject the idea? What if? But if you focus on now, right now, as you are listening to this, the more power you regain and you reduce your anxiety, right? Now, mental health isn't linear, guys. There's no such thing as perfect mental health day. And actually, as much as I love and enjoy Mental Health Awareness Month, I think we need mental health awareness days, 365. Because if you do not have a healthy mind, nothing else in your life is healthy. Okay? Because then you're going to be full of excuses. That's why I said there's no such thing as perfect mental health day. Healing is non-linear. Some days you'll feel powerful and productive and abundant and happy and joyful. And other days you'll feel foggy and disconnected and sad. And both of them are valid, right? Dr. Christine Neff calls this self-compassion in action. You don't heal by being harder on yourself. You heal when you say, this is hard, and I'm doing the best I can. So on the days you're tired, please rest up, take a nap. On the days you're unsure, ask for help. On the days you feel like giving up, re-listen to this episode, and remember, you are not alone. This Mental Health Awareness Month, my message is simple but powerful. You can have ADHD and still lead a focused life. You are not the label. You are not the typical whatever that they're labeling you as. You can experience depression and still build joy. You can live with anxiety and still cultivate peace. And of course, that's my Cheerio. You're not behind in life. You're just learning to navigate it differently. You're not your diagnosis. You are dynamic. You're worthy and you're incredibly resilient. Now, if this episode from Level Up Academy today with me spoke to you, please share it with someone who needs it. I would actually love a review as well to help others discover us. Turn on your social media at Level Up Academy podcast, right? Maybe one of these days we'll have a giveaway. But remember, guys, more than anything, you are not your past. You are not your pain. You are your persistence. You are your power. And you are already enough just the way you are. Okay? Do not let others box you in or tell you who you are. Okay? Therapy works, support groups helps, and just being seen, heard, and understood can also be healing. Write everything that you're feeling right now in a piece of paper or a sticky notes. How you started your day. Check in with yourself midday, and then reflect by the end of the day. Okay? Start a thought tracker, like I said, guys. Write one unhelpful thought. Name that emotion that triggers it and note what you did next. Because we want to repeat that, right? We want to repeat that. And we also really about cognitive behavior therapy, the thoughts, the feelings, and behaviors, they really are connected. And the more we pay attention, the more we can align ourselves to do better, to heal. And healing takes time, right? It doesn't happen right away. And the more that you try and keep going, even on the days that are so hard to get up, so hard to finish anything, or you're so busy you forgot to even eat, but then at the end of the day, you look at what you were busy about, you can't even tell anybody what you did because it's just all a blur for the last 15 hours. What did I do? And then you have that self-guilt. You have to be accountable for your own actions, right? My formula for success is 3 C's: clarity, courage, and consistency. You have to be clear on what you want. That's why it's really important for you when you wake up in the day, in the morning, to what? Align yourself. What do you want out of that day? Be intentional. Be clear on what you want. And then have the courage to step into action. Because nothing happens in theory. Don't live in the clouds. Stay on the ground. Okay? And be consistent. And you're like, CJ, what if I'm consistently wrong? Well, how do you know if you don't take action? And that's the reason why you got to reflect at the end of the day. So if you are consistently making the same mistake over and over and over again, that means you're not paying attention to your progress. Don't beat yourself up. The power of choice is now. Go ahead and change, pivot and change. And don't shame yourself for making mistakes. Who cares? That's part of life. Move on. Own it, crown it, and then move on. But be consistent. And then there's a plus there, right? The 3 C's, clarity, courage, and consistency, plus RA, radical accountability. It's not enough that you are accountable. You have to have a radical accountability. That means lessen your excuses. Oh, I can't do this because you choose not to. 90% of what we say we cannot do is because we don't really put ourselves in radical accountability. We're full of excuses. I know because I have them too. Okay? And then minus the ego. We all have it. I have it. Right? And ego is what? What is ego, guys? Can you guys answer that on yourself right now? I wish you were talking to me live right now. I would love your answer. What is ego? Right? What is it? Because if you delete ego, okay, from most of your transactions or most of your conversations or most of your arguments, you'd be better. Remember the psychoanalysis. This is Sigmund and Freud's. The ego is one of the three parts of the human psyche, right? Id is superego and ego. Id actually is that impulsive side of you. It's the instinctual part that seeks pleasure, like childlike urges, like buying things even though you don't have money, right? Or buying something that's super expensive because you think you can, but then you have to pay for it. That's your id. Your superego is the moral compass that strives for perfection. Think of conscience or societal rules. That's your superego. And your ego is the rational mediator between the id and the superego. But if you that actually is the one that supposedly regulates, but we call that the ego. Technically, it's the superego that we kind of need to slim down a little bit. Right? Because ego is our sense of identity and the part of our mind that balances that desire with responsibility. Right? In spiritual or self-awareness contexts, Eckhart Tolle and Eastern philosophies or mindfulness work, the ego is often defined as the false sense of self created by thoughts, stories, achievements, trauma, titles, roles, or the need to be right or superior to others. Now, it's the I or the me that actually tries to protect your identity, but often feeds comparisons or fear or pride or defensiveness. And we talk about this in my live today with Janice about being defensive. She has it too. I have it too. It's that fear of not being enough, right? In this view, ego is the mental construct that separates you or I from presence, others, and your true self. So a healthy ego sets boundaries, builds up confidence, and allows you for self-advocacy. An inflated ego leads to arrogance, denial, and lack of empathy. And a wounded ego causes insecurity, defensiveness, or fear of rejection. Yeah, definitely have a wounded ego sometimes. Okay? We're going to be transparent. Now, think of your ego like a personal assistant. It organizes your identity. It speaks for you. But if you believe it is you, it can take over and run your life based on fear and not truth. So, guess what? Success equals clarity, courage, consistency, plus radical accountability, minus that ego of too much. Stay humble. Inject humility in everything that you do. Be yourself as much as possible, because we all wear masks to fit into a box, no matter what box it is. We are a chameleon. We try to fit in because we want to be accepted, because of belonging. We want to belong. But sometimes not knowing yourself and belonging and putting yourself in that box that you don't even know what the box is, that's when you get in trouble. That's when fights happen. That's when jealousy, that's when stalking happens, narcissism, put it in there. Everything just full of what? Craziness, right? And if you already have ADHD or bipolarism or anxiety or depression, all of these things, even high functioning autism, all of these things affects the way we look at ourselves and we look at others. But keep in mind, learning about yourself is a journey. It doesn't happen overnight. You're not going to solve your problem or your trauma or anything else to heal tomorrow. But self-awareness is the key. Being aware of your weaknesses and your strengths while you're working on your weaknesses expand on those strengths and keep those strengths at bay. Work at it every single day like a muscle, right? Because we all need ourselves. Don't lose yourself for others. All right? I could talk all day long, guys, but I'm going to end this conversation of ADHD, depression, and anxiety. Thank you guys so much for listening. And you're not behind, okay? You're just beginning and we're walking with you. Again, if this episode spoke to you, pass it forward, share it with someone who needs a reminder that their mind is worth supporting and that there are tools, there are people and podcasts like this one ready to help them level up. Thanks for tuning in to Level Up Academy today. I'm your host, Dr. Leyland. I will see you next Friday. All right? Have a fantastic weekend. See you at our YouTube at 7 p.m. on Sunday PST.
Level up, it's time to rise. Unlock your potential, reach for the skies. Transform pain to purpose, find clarity and strive. With Dr. Leyland leading, we stand side by side. Collaboration fuels us, together we thrive. At Level Up Academy, your dreams come alive. Hey!